Hey everybody, I'm in the cornfield. It's all over 8 feet tall. I guess the edge maybe isn't over 8 feet tall, but as you can see, we got wild buckwheat growing. It's in our sand pile. That's one of our worst weeds, and you can see how it climbs up the corn stalk and wraps itself all up. We sprayed it a couple of times, and then we actually cultivated this part. Has been corn. There's a little triangle about 9 acres, and that, like, it's a 65 acre field, but this little triangle has been corn for 4 years, and we had pretty good buckwheat problem last year in it, because it only grew 4 feet tall and drowned out and got sick. So we knew we had a buckwheat problem, so we actually cultivated this corn twice and tried to throw a little dirt at it before we couldn't get through anymore. But the buckwheat gets shaded, but that buckwheat is resilient. It has no problems growing, like I said, especially in our sand pile. There's other places in our area, like I said, you don't have to go very far away before it's not that sandy. Oh, sorry about that. Pretty heavy dew this morning, but you can see the peas are starting to ripen. So the dew's pushed them down, so they're a little more squished to the ground than they would be if it wasn't for the heavy dew. But this is just part of the ripening process. I don't know what you'll be able to see, but there's plenty of pods. And they're full of pods. But last year was our first year growing these yellow peas, and the problem we had, and it'll happen here too, is as the plants ripen and they squat down and they start to blacken off, the weeds will come. And last year we had a bunch of early August rain, and it just brought the weeds like crazy. But it can't change it, so we can't worry about it. We got them there's no weeds standing here. Anything you see that's a little taller, well, I guess there's a couple ragweed over there, but most stuff that's taller, it's just that the early generation pea plants that grow a little taller. This is what I found out those were. I thought it was contaminated seed, but we had some with purple flowers, and that's where the peas were bred from, and it's kind of just a little throwback. But you can see what compaction does. These peas on the end, are, even without the dew on them, there's nothing over a foot tall. But we hauled out, I think, 80 loads of manure. We drove all over there just to windrow that manure, and that's what compaction does. There's stuff I hate, that foxtail. That stuff, oh, any place that's got poor drainage, it grows, and horses can't eat it, and cows can't eat it. So, but figured you guys knew what I'd be doing. It's time for second cut. Woohoo! You can just look at how much, well, maybe you won't be able to see, but how much water is on that swath. I warmed up the tractor, and I should just go back to the house and wait for the sun to burn off the dew, but I'm too impatient. I opened up the field last night. So we'll go in front. So you can see that it's starting to get some purple flowers. So there are some purple flowers. Between the swaths of first cut, it's starting to flower. Where the swath was, it's not flowering yet. But I just assumed it didn't flower. I shut my pivot off. a week ago. But like I said, I'm not embarrassed about this cutting the hay. I know it's not gonna ring any bells, but I turned off my pivot. My pivot ran, I put 6.5 inches of water on between first and second here, and then I shut my pivot off. Well, it has to be a week ago I shut my pivot off, and I thought that I had to wait to get my molehills to dry, but we've been in such a heat wave that I came out here and the ground was actually cracking. And that we have sand. That's not usually, our ground doesn't usually crack. It's not usually a problem we have, is the ground cracking when it dries out. We don't have that type of soil, but it is what it is. Now you get to see my big fat shadow. Anyhow, let's go lock some of this crap down. Probably I'll drive a little slower with it being something heavy to do, but I can just creep along even if I get a couple acres cut before it goes off. Like I said, we're at least 5-6 days from bailing in our area, so we don't have any of that. Not one day bail the next. So, when I lay a little water in the swamp, it's not going to be the end of it. So, anyhow, I'll bring you out a little later. See you in a bit. Well, you can tell the reason why I have aphid damage. You can see all the aphids. I'm glad I didn't have to change the blade. I hit a little rock and it went ker-clunk, so I came out and it had already broke the rock and I just gathered it up. But as you can see, that's all aphids. Oh, and ladybugs. So anyhow, I just thought that was kind of funny. Thought I'd show you. Well, we're making progress. I made the mistake of going in for lunch, and it wasn't a mistake. It just took an hour when I thought I could run in for 20 minutes. But one day my kids will all be moved away, and I won't regret spending an hour at lunch watching them have fun. They played bingo on YouTube. It was a channel called Studio C, and you can print off a bingo card and they played against each other, and any little symbols that were on their bingo card came up, they had to mark them off. So they had like little things they had to watch carefully in their little, it's kind of a sketch group, and they have little sketches, and so they'd have to find the one character wearing a shirt that had tacos on it, and you know, whether there was a picture of a pineapple on the wall, and, you know, one of the characters threw a pipe wrench at someone, you know, and these little comedy sketches. So it was kind of fun to watch and play. So, but you can see the center point over there that gives you, when you cut in circles, it looks, you don't ever know how far you are across the field until, well, you just know that your rounds start getting faster. When I start, then it takes half an hour to make a round, and then of course when I get done, you know, when I'm at the center point, you can, in half an hour, you can do, you know, a tower worth of hay. So, but you can see, I don't know, well, yeah, I guess I'll put behind the mower there. You can see that the wind is blowing. Seems to blow around here. Ay caramba! You can tell where the sprayer made tracks when we planted the hay. Knock your fillings out. There's a reason I don't cut hay at 10 miles an hour, that's for sure. Mostly because even if I seat belted myself in, the mower would be in pieces laying on the ground. So, but you can see there's some purple flowers coming. Got my memory full on, holy cow, pretty bouncy. My memory's full tells me to change operational instance or create a new field to continue. Well, it won't let me create a new field, so I just leave it on that. The alarm goes off. If you keep silencing the alarm will go off about 14 times per swath, and that gets pretty old pretty fast. So, but see the swaths, we're getting a few of them out there. Oh, I can show you guys. Oh, get my hand in the way. I don't know if you guys will notice, but my pretty white safety glasses I have no longer. I broke them. I was cleaning them, of all things. Oh, my seagulls are working. I was cleaning my glasses, and I was wiping the lens off, and all of a sudden the one half, it split right on the nose, and the one half of the glasses fell to the kitchen floor. So, and my boys, you think I'd pulled the funniest gag ever, because they got the freaking giggles, and they laughed themselves silly. So, they paid for it though, because, well, they physically didn't pay for it, I did, but when Ty went and got me fuel yesterday afternoon, he went and bought me another pair of glasses. I was wearing my fancy Oakleys that I go into town glasses, and I really didn't want to use those for safety glasses, so I was happy to get another pair of $15 glasses, not way more than that. Gotta watch what I'm doing here. You get used to driving with the GPS, and then you forget how much crap there is to do when you get to the end and you only have one hand. Well, and when you drive by, you just have to back up. That never usually happens, so. So it's kind of crazy as it stays, the GPS stays locked on while you do that. You can see some thin spots out there. Those thin spots in those lowlands, that's where I showed you guys at first cut where I had all the grass growing. But grass doesn't grow as fast as alfalfa, so I think I can't remember how long it's been. Must be 5 weeks since five and a half anyhow, weeks since I first cut, so grass, at least in our country, can't grow that fast. But alfalfa can. So, anyhow, we're chipping away at it. Like I said, my little seagulls, those are the Queen's bird. So, you can't kill a seagull in Canada anyway. I don't know what it's like other places. That's the Queen's bird, so you don't, it's illegal to do. But I'm pretty sure it's not too exciting watching hay go into a disc vine and come out as a swath. Especially when it's an old junky hay vine and it's not a fancy get up. So, oh, I should show you on my floor. I got all my blades and stuff I need for changing things, and oh, and then there's some water and some cookies. So I wouldn't want to waste away nothing while I was cutting hay, so gotta have some cookies there. So anyhow, thought I'd bring you guys out and listen to the tractor roar and to me twist your ear. So I'll probably bring you out later and show you the progress. So hang on for some more fun. Well, I've had about as much fun as I want to have today. It's about 8:45, so we've got her licked. I pushed a little harder yesterday, and then I didn't have to cut pivot corners because it's too dry. So I thought fitting that I finished off this on the pivot point, because without the pivot we wouldn't have hay to bale, or to cut it for that matter. So anyhow, I'm gonna go home, have a bite to eat, and then we gotta go. The boys will have a horse saddled for me to ride, because these colts don't ride themselves. We gotta take care of them and see if we can't make them into horses. So I'll be riding my blue roan paint, my colt named Sue. So anyhow, be sure to comment, rate, and subscribe, and have a great day.